Welcome to Grease Mountain. I think this is like the 7th Dev Bog. This was a greasy one, boys. This was... Fuck. Okay, so the whole mission was to get Foot IK in. If you don't know what IK kind of is in Engine, it's like you set it up so that the limbs and stuff will kind of like automatically react to different elements within the terrain and stuff that you couldn't possibly create, animations for. You'd have to create 1,000 of them. But yeah, I got through a lot of different videos. I watched the one that I ended up kind of going with. It was like a series of videos, and I went through it like 3 times. The first time it kind of went well, but then I parented I set it up with the joint on the wrong joint, so it was kind of like tiptoe ballerina style. And then the second time, there was just a bunch of other things not working, and I tried to like half watch it again and go through it and try and figure out where I went wrong. But I ended up just making it worse. So then I went through it a third time, and finally I got it working, and it's pretty great. It's like a subtle thing, so it's not, but the movement is starting to feel a little bit better, so that's why I'm going to show. And I did also record a couple. I forgot to use my microphone last time too. There we go. Yeah. So I I'm forgetting a bunch of stuff. It's 10 o'clock in the morning, and I ain't slept yet, so I might have a nap soon. But it's a bit of a sleepy one, a bit of a dozy meme today, but yeah, it's one of the most greasy mountains I had to climb this time. But I'm pretty happy with it, so without further ado, switch over to screen capture, and I'll show. Oh yeah, and I recorded some of the glitches along the way, which are ridiculous, because I was like testing out some ragdoll physics as well. But I'll just do a little walk around. Here's your boy. You've seen him before, little guy. I also fixed. I hooked up the idle walk and run into a single blend space, so the transitions between them aren't as jarring. But the main attraction is this stuff. See how like it's subtle, but like see how he kind of see that. I mean, it's not quite, but you got kind of just the way he adjusts his little limbs. Gosh dang it took a while. They can walk up stuff more convincingly. There's still, I think it'd be good to get it so like when you pause, instead of going straight back to an idle like this, it pauses between the different poses of the walk cycle. But that might just be me wanting to kind of see the IK in action more. But just how, before the 2 feet would just be level, and then the capsule collider would just be kind of acting as an invisible platform. But now it's all very it's just this. I just did a really quick export of this, but I think the way it was decimated in ZBrush, the Unreal didn't like that particularly, so it came out very weird. But I've been posing him to be more T-pose as much as you can with kind of an asymmetrical character, and when I can be bothered, because I'm really Oh, and the collision's awkward on that as well. But I'm really kind of just into trying to get satisfying movement, and the charge jump feels, well, pretty satisfying too. And like the way he lands, like if he kind of is landing onto something, it's almost like the IK, no, the IK legs preemptively aim towards it, which is cool. See if I can do this little circuit. Well, there we go. Is my computer going? It's weird because the way I was kind of approaching the game concept was that it would be more like linear, more like Bloodborne, Dark Souls, Sekiro kind of thing. But like, I'm just having so much fun with the verticality that you can kind of achieve with a charge jump, and just that kind of freedom. I think again I will condense it down into more constricting levels. This is just like a test error just randomly threw together. But game sometimes, oh wait, no, I fixed that because there was a bit of jitter before you could have it, so it would be like hanging over. Can we get him to do it still? Oh, come on. I think because that's slightly lower. I might remove that other thing actually, but yeah, kind of sometimes it's, come on. Wait, I might actually go into the blueprints and see if I can remove that to achieve that other thing I was just trying to do. I think it's in this somewhere. Where are you? It's this fuck. I could probably just rip out all of this. For now, I probably won't break it. See if that does it. Oh. Why is it not opening? Oh, no? There's two. What? Oh, wait. I opened it in a window. Never mind. No, that's fine. Sometimes, if you open two of the same project, it just completely breaks anything you try and do. But I don't think that was the case. But it will mean I have to do that again. Okay, there we go. All right. But yeah, I do a lot of kind of like, there's probably other bits that are kind of just floating around which aren't actually connected, because I'm scared of losing progress. But at the same time, you have to be pretty ruthless with old code, I guess. Okay, removing that did just result in one of the previous issues. Like this. So this is the IK trying to work, but yeah, I'll just set it back up. Never mind. I could mess about with it, but I'm too tired of shit breaking. But basically that, but like his leg kind of goes really scrunched up on one side, and he just like hangs off the ledge. But yeah, if I turn the value to like, so that's distance from ground. So would it have to be higher? I just made it to like 5,000. Okay, yeah, that's kind of the effect. You go so far. Yeah, here we go. Just the way you kind of, just so nonchalant. I think because if you can see how like the hack draw weapon there is kind of like clipping through, I'm thinking of creating like similar. Okay, maybe if I make it like 100. But yeah, I was thinking of adding similar IK to the arms, so that yeah, if you I didn't break it, did it? This ball's a good way of testing out. Okay, yeah, still good. But yeah, similar to the leg IK, I think I'll add it to the arms, but the only thing I'm kind of scared of is with the fighting. I'll need to figure out how to make it so that with enemies, the weapons don't procedurally avoid them, because otherwise you won't ever be able to hit them. But I'm sure that won't be too difficult to figure out. It's just something which I don't necessarily know would be, because I've watched this video, so I'll be able to set up similar kind of IK for the arms as well, but just that added thing. Also with the movement, so I'm pretty happy with how the leg IK is. It can be a bit weird like that, like when it doesn't know what to do too much. But for the most part, it feels pretty good, and the silliness is kind of fun anyway. It can be ironed out, but I kind of been thinking a lot about how GTA has like the ragdoll. The colliders on that need to be more complex as well. But yeah, I was just thinking how funny it is, like when there's even a button for it. I think on PC where at any moment you can go into a ragdoll, and the ragdoll's like really good because it feels like weighted, whereas this ragdoll, the kind of the kind of like default ragdoll that they provide is just like jelly, which humans aren't necessarily made of most of the time. So I think I'll look into trying to add weight to specific. So the way I would want to do it is look into a ragdoll system where kind of like the torso has the most amount of gravity, I guess, the least amount of what's the word, velocity and jelliness, and then the limbs can kind of fly about willy-nilly, and it'd be funny for like dead bodies, and even just like a button like you could toggle on and off, so as you were jumping down you could like ragdoll in the last minute, not just for fun. But also I think to have kind of some degree of ragdoll, as well as kind of like rotate, like turning on, so like to have it so that there's a little bit more kind of sway in the movement. And I did try to do it. I don't think I recorded the outcome, because that was the time when I accidentally had two of the same project open, and I didn't realize that meant that you couldn't save stuff. So I thought that was just a glitch within the code that I had set up. I can't say written, because I actually opened up some of the blueprints, and man, it's just long lines of code, and it really kind of made me realize how good I got it. But so yeah, I set it up so as you run around, you can still walk around, but you have ragdoll, but all of the body parts kind of sunk into a big mass in the middle, kind of like that creature in Inside, if you've ever played that game. Um, but it was just ridiculous. But to have it in a really kind of subtle way, I think would help to give even more of a sense of like motion and bounce, like because the animation that you can get from physics simulation and ragdolls and IK are always going to feel a lot more natural, especially like when you've got like a decent kind of like foundation of like good animations, which I wouldn't say like the animations I've done are that good, but I'm talking about, I suppose, what I kind of want to work towards. So there's that, and then also I'm slowly getting a little bit better with using blend spaces so that the animations kind of blend together more nice, and to have animations for like as you're turning into this, I'm gonna animate a walking backwards animation and sideways, and then because right now I haven't, but you could essentially use like a one dimensional blend space for the walk, the idle to walk to run, because it's just kind of like you only need a linear graph to achieve it. But fortunately I haven't set it up that way, so I could just probably add the kind of like 3D movement, to that blend space to get some really nice like that mixed with like the physics of like the ragdoll, just to get that sense of like turning into leaning into a certain direction and stuff, instead of it really feeling quite stiff still. But yeah, the first step of IK, I think it is a big one, and it's kind of got me on this. I still want to do all the other stuff. I'm still, I love modeling, and I've really found a joy in being able to rig, because it feels like whatever I personally model can end up in the game, because I'm the only limiting factor, especially in like something like this, which is like a personal project. Like in terms of like next year's course, like I'd love for people to want to work on this, but I'm not setting my mind on that. Like I'm completely happy for this to be something I put on the back burner to work on a group project which everyone else is kind of keen on, and also like a lot of these skills that I gain from this personal project I can very easily transfer, especially if we go with Unreal, which that's something I'm probably going to be more kind of keen on pushing for, because this engine is just so good, and especially because I've spent a large time, I mean, not relative to people actually who work in games and stuff, but I've been exposed to a fair bit of Unity, and this just feels like such a, I mean, they have Fortnite money, like they are just pushing stuff out so quick, and like with the new engine, Unreal Engine 5 on the horizon, it just seems like a really good time to actually get on board, and especially with this kind of like course, with such amazing resources, like with the people who teach the workshops with the engine, and just the financial security that a university kind of course provides and stuff. Like I don't want to have to deal with Unity for another year. I haven't even fucked with the lighting or anything, like, but yeah, as I was saying, like, I do want to get some basic combat in, and some enemy AI, just so when playtesting and testing out the movement mechanics that I develop in this kind of test scene. There's a bit more to do, so it's just a bit more interesting to. There's more of a reason, like, you know, if these enemies are kind of dotted around the map, and even if they weren't set up to have decent combat or anything, but if they could just like chase you around the level, I think it would feel a little bit more organic, like the rest of the testing. But yeah, just happy to have got through that tutorial eventually, and it's always quite a satisfying process, you know, like, I mean, it's obvious, but you've learned something, but you also, you know, it's like learning a new recipe or something. It's like you get to not have your cake and eat it too, but you can sure make one again if you feel like it, you know, and get to chow down. But so yeah, that's that. If I pause this guy, oh, you're gonna behave, little guy. Yeah. So the last thing I want to show is I just kind of screen capped some of these glitches and some of this testing because it looks fucking ridiculous. Where'd it go? Did not mean to open whatever that was. What is this? Oh, come on. Bloody hell, go away. So yeah, I'm just going to go through these bloopers, I guess you could say. So this is one of the ragdoll things. I think, so it's a mixture of the press a button to ragdoll plus the ragdoll being basically half of the body. But this is what I kind of mean. It wasn't to this extent to start with. It was a little bit less, but this is, I'd say, resembles the degree of elasticity and jellification that the kind of the cookie cutter default ragdoll does. And you know, I don't think it kind of baffles me because, like, I've seen tutorials where they just use the default skeleton and it has the similar degree. So yeah, I really just want to figure out a way to kind of weight the different bones that the ragdoll has. Let's do one more ragdoll. Let's see. Come on, you gonna do it? There you go. But it could even be like a gameplay feature, you know, like, because it's such a strange universe. There's potential for maybe there's some kind of like strange liquid you can consume and it turns you to jelly, like in, you know, like in the first X-Men film where that politician gets turned into a really fucked up mutant. But maybe it would be a way to progress, like, through a level, like it's the jelly level where everyone who lives in this place has, for some weird maybe addiction to jellification, becomes these jelly people. So all of the doors are they don't have any need for doors, so it's all just like slits, and everyone just kind of like slithers through pipes, and that's your in, as grotesque as it may be, or something. So so now we're on to the different IK glitches. So this was like the first attempt, but the feet, as you can probably tell, look a little bit broken. Definitely not the worst offender, but this was when I rigged up more like the tips of the feet to be IK instead of the I guess you could say more around like the heel, where the joint really begins on the joint chain of feet. I think there's a bit of confusion because I was following a tutorial which was using the basic default mesh and joints, but I think they only have one joint for the feet. So it was, but I don't. I have a few joints for the feet. So what's this one? Not. Oh. That was when I accidentally used the leg joint instead. So he's just got one power leg. Again, this could be kind of funny for like. Sorry, spat everywhere. At least you're not in the same room as me. But yeah, like just like some kind of like the fact that a couple errors can produce something like this. It's quite a useful thing for creating ideas. Like just how fucked you can potentially make something so easily. Okay, this is the backwards leg one, I think. You gonna run? Yeah. That also looks pretty painful. Unless he was born with it. I think there's actually some kids somewhere who like walk like that because they're on like all fours. Maybe got like raised by creatures of some kind. But again, it's just it's a weird thing because like on the one hand it's massively frustrating to have these problems, but then at the same time you can only really sit and laugh at it because of how ridiculous the outcome of your failings be. And in that respect it's like if you you know look at if you try your best to look at it through that lens, like and see it more as like a moment of respite in the frustration and stuff, it's yeah, it's not so bad. I don't know how many more I have of these. It's the opposite. He's kind of oh, got the little sideways jump. That was a quickie. Oh, still there. Yeah, I don't know why. I can't even remember why it was doing this. I think this was just right before I just went and scrapped everything and did it all, even though most of it was probably fine. It's just like sometimes it's almost quicker to go through it again from scratch instead of like trying to rifle through a bunch of stuff that you hardly even understand. This one is like he's walking on hot lava and he's trying his best. He's trying his hardest to not get burnt. I need to give this guy some shoes, man. So the legs at this point aren't quite as sideways, but man, are they froggish. And I did even with some of the IK variations, the jumps actually felt better to have IK enabled because it there was more like organic movement in the jump pose. But then the version that had that was broken in other ways, so I scrapped it and had to go do it again. And then after that, the jumps were just like that, and so I had to just completely. I just went forward and followed the tutorial, and luckily they had a solution for that because the person was having the same bug. But the and so what you do is just cut off IK once you're like a certain distance from the ground. But like with stuff like that, like with the enabling like the leg hang, even though there's nothing to step onto for like meters and meters and meters, getting a better overall understanding and almost kind of like wielding what you once considered bugs. Oh, there's another one. I think that's like a good place to be, where you can almost enable some of the wacky procedure. This is just like a he's got a real strut to him, this guy. I think it's only when he's standing on the flat, it's fine, but as soon as he's going uphill, he's really going for it. Damn, I got quite a few of these. This one's just glitchy as fuck. I think this one, because you kind of need to use the position of the hips to a degree go lower when you're stood on something, so that there's still that kind of, it's almost like you enable crouching to a degree when you're stood on something. But so that's all the IK stuff. Little ramble, little update, little game bog. Greasy as fuck. I look like I'm working at some kind of fast food place. But fuck it. Yeah. I'm pretty excited for the future. It's all pretty cool stuff. So